Who is the best example of you either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become a villain? Marshal Philippe Pétain from France. WW1 hero after Battle of Verdun and WW2 head of the collaborationist regime of Vichy that helped the Nazis. Yeah. With Foch and Clemenceau he was revered in France, not only as the winner of Verdun, but also as the army reformer. He spearheaded military reforms which not only drastically improved soldier living conditions, he also pushed for a different military doctrine, especially in how to defend in case of attacks. Every general in the Entente who followed his recommendations saw incredible success during the 1918 German offensive, while every who didn't follow his recommendation saw their forces pushed back. And then in WW2 he became the textbook traitor and one, if not the most reviled man in French history, not only surrendering, but also helping Nazi Germany in many ways that the Nazi didn't even ask for, most notably sending more Jews to be killed than the German requested. The African National Congress, the party mainly responsible for the liberation of the South African people from the apartheid regime, now just a group of totally corrupt cronies. A country with so much promise, completely run into the ground. Oscar Pistorius. From Global Inspiration, after winning multiple gold medals running as a double amputee, to convicted wife murderer. Fun fact. He only started winning after getting his prosthetics adjusted to be longer. Fritz Haber. He discovered a way to synthesize ammonia from nitrogen and hydrogen gas, what is crucial for fertilizers. He was also later employed by Germany during World War I to find a way to weaponize chlorine, thus becoming the father of chemical warfare after successfully doing so. Basically, he saved billions and killed millions. He won the Nobel Prize for the good phase of his life, and his wife committed suicide in despair at the second phase of his life. The day Haber was due to travel to the Eastern Front to use poison gas against the Russians, she shot herself in the chest. Her son found her the next morning alive but mortally wounded. Later the son also committed suicide. Haber was Jewish, but his company was confiscated by the Nazis and went on to make the gas used in Nazi death camps which killed hundreds of his relatives. No one has ever gone from such highs to such lows. If he died in 1914 he will be remembered as the man whose invention allowed billions to live. Blizzard Entertainment, which is hilarious in hindsight considering that this is one of their favorite tropes a la Arthur Soripa. Kevin Spacey would have gone down as an acting legend, then it turned out that he wasn't acting. Joe Paterno, Penn State football coach, built the program into a nation's powerhouse, got his kids to graduate, helped build the university in, donated millions. Many of his players still swear by him, but he almost certainly ignored his defensive coordinator Jerry Sandusky grooming and abusing kids through Jerry's charity. Paterno was fired and died shortly after before the investigation was really ever even started. Every time his name comes up now it ignores any good thing he ever did and is only ever associated with Jerry Sandusky. Being a good football coach is paramountly less impressive to most people than being a good human. Philippe Pétain, a French general who played a crucial role in beating Germany in WW1. 25 years later he collaborated with the Nazis and became the head of Vichy France, a German puppet state. Themistocles convinces Athens to build a navy to meet the coming Persian threat, saves Greece from the Persians at the Battle of Salamis. Greeks get jealous of his fame and declare him a traitor. Themistocles has to run away from the people he saved and ends up serving the Persian king Artaxerxes, who treats him and his family with honor. Greeks being Greeks, they just fucked themselves. Themistocles did what he did out of revenge. Jimmy Savile, when he died someone paid £130 000 for his silver Rolls Royce because it was his car and he was so loved / famous. His body was displayed in Leeds, my sister went to see, and he was adored across the nation. That was until all of his evil deeds were revealed. His body is now buried in an unmarked grave so that it can't be destroyed. He died a hero, but could have easily become public enemy number one, especially in the era of Me Too and Jeffrey Epstein etc. had he lived a little longer. For the lazy and uninformed, What were his evil deeds? Edit. Yes. Thank you, everyone. I've got it now. A whole load of these examples prove that it's not you become the villain. It's that eventually your secret villainy gets found out. Yeah. Rudy Giuliani fits that. Jard from Subway. Yeah. F you Jard. Alice Sebold. She wrote a best-selling book about a young girl's rape and murder, The Lovely Bones, that she said she was able to write because of her own experience of being sexually assaulted. She made millions off the film rights and was hailed as a hero for her strength and resilience. A few years later it was discovered that she had lied on the stand about recognizing her rapist. Her claim that she definitely knew it was him was the only evidence against him. The man she accused spent decades in prison for a rape he didn't commit, while she made mad money off being a victim of sexual assault. Edit. She eventually apologized. https://www.npr.org/2021/11/30/1,060,202,062/Alice Sebold apologizes to the man exonerated for the rape that. Her memoir focus. Michel Platini. From hero of the flamboyant but losing French national team of the 80s to a corrupted among corrupted, casting his vote for Qatar to host WC 2022. Platini was a legendary figure across the world. Now he is seen only as an amoral, venal sleaze. Aung San Suu Kyi went from being a Nobel Peace Prize laureate and pivotal figure in moving Burma towards a partial democracy to becoming a supporter of genocide in her country. I'd say it is more complicated than that. She was arrested in 2021 and sentenced to now 20 years in prison. The military junta is just as brutal to minorities. https://www.irrawaddy.com/news/Burma/child victims of Myanmar to junta airstrikes recall their deadly ordeal. HTML. As her government was. So she's once again a symbol of crushed democratic hopes. Only, now that brief period of democracy, 2015 to 2021, will always be remembered for encouraging the endless ethnic violence in Myanmar. Aung San Suu Kyi, long-suffering symbol of peaceful democratic resistance to tyranny, then one sniff of power and she showed she was also a bigoted genocide denier. Such a head-spinning F around. So utterly tragic for the people of Burma. Rudy Giuliani, from America's mayor to America's nightmare. Joss Whedon. This one still hurts me. He really was my hero as a teen. He gave me the sky and took it away from me. Robert Mugabe. He freed Zimbabwe from the British Empire and helped other African countries towards decolonization. He then turned into a dictator of his country and fucked up the economy and other stuff. Edit. To be more precise, Mugabe fought against the white minority rule in Zimbabwe, Rhodesia, which resulted from the British colonialism. To add, Zimbabwe, Rhodesia, used to be one of the top food producers in Africa. Mugabe's policy of repossessing farms from white people without any compensation resulted in the country now being in a food shortage crisis. While it's tempting to take back industries owned by white minorities and give it back to black majority populations, doing so without ensuring the knowledge on how to run it all is also transferred, is the result of many of modern Africa's problems. O.J. Simpson. If I would have become a villain. Probably not the best, but Gerhard Schroeder is interesting example. From fairly reasonable Chancellor of Germany doing much needed economic reforms, to Putin's lobbyist playing big part in current energy crisis in Europe by single-handedly crippling Germany by using his connections and power to spearhead lobby against nuclear and in favor of dependency on Russian gas. Edit. Just to clarify, I'm not German. I don't know all the details of German politics. I'm saying how rest of the world saw it from news headlines. Lance Armstrong. Dude was a cycling legend who successfully battled cancer and was looked upon as an inspiration and motivation by millions, until they found out that he used performance-enhancing drugs, and they stripped his titles. From a cancer-defeating sports legend to a drug-cheating athlete, his downfall was really sharp. Facebook. When it first came about, it was seen as a safe social media because you had to have a student ID to make an account. It was for high school and college students only. Parents/adults at the time were worried about their kids having contact with adult predators on MySpace following many horror stories from AIM and MySpace interactions. Now it's the rest show of adults posting 24/7 and kids lying about their age to get an account. Data mining users. Normalization of sharing personal data and the company not giving a rest about online safety. It wasn't even for high schoolers at first. Only colleges. And even then only specific ones. Viktor Orban. He once was a hero in the 90s, but now he is the main villain in the EU. I was going to post this. Best example. Edit for those that don't know him. He played a symbolic role in bringing down Soviet influence in Hungary, but over the last 10 years turned Hungary into what he calls an illiberal democracy, and is a role model to other leaders who want to rule in an anti-democratic fashion in Europe. Edit 2, Word. Ellen DeGeneres. I remember her. When she came out on her old sitcom, it was a huge freaking deal. She wasn't fake nissy nice then either, if I remember correctly. Then Nemo and her talk show happened. Shane Dawson. Beloved father of YouTube to someone known for saying inappropriate things about/around children. Potentially F his cat. And being a manipulative snake behind the scenes with other YouTubers. One of the swiftest and most efficient cancellations I've ever seen. Didn't he also sexualize Willow Smith when she was a 10-year-old? Brett Favre. Started with the pics,